Okay, let's get right into a topic that so many of us struggle with: overthinking. That feeling of being trapped in your own head. But what if there was a way out? Today, we are going to map out a clear path to finally take back control of your mind. Let's do it. So, let me just ask you this. Does your mind ever feel like it's just stuck on a loop? Like a song on repeat that you just can't turn off? It's just churning and churning, going over the same ground long after it stopped being useful. And if that sounds familiar, then these signs probably will too. You know how it goes. You start replaying conversations in your head, picking apart every single word. Then, your brain just jumps straight to imagining the absolute worst-case scenarios. And all of it is just fueled by this constant nagging self-doubt. The most frustrating part? You know it's not helping. You can feel it hurting you, but you feel totally powerless to make it stop. So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to unpack what the overthinking loop actually is. Then, we'll get into why our brain feels like it has no brakes. After that, we'll look at the very real costs of all this. And finally, we'll lay out the path to getting some clarity. All right, let's dive into part one, the overthinking loop. Because we've got to redefine the real problem here. It's probably not what you think it is. So, what is overthinking really? It's not just about thinking too much. That's way too simple. It's a pattern. It's a mental trap where your brain gets locked into this endless loop, desperately searching for perfect answers, for absolute certainty, for a sense of control that, let's be honest, just never arrives. And here is the truly cruel twist in all of this. The very thing your brain is doing to try and find peace is what ends up creating more stress, more anxiety, and this deep, profound exhaustion. It's why you can feel so drained without even moving a muscle. Which leads us right to our next section, a brain without brakes. This really gets to the core of why it's so maddening when someone, or even you, says, hey, just stop thinking about it. It's just not that simple. And this right here, this is so important to understand. This is not a personal failure. You're not weak. You're not broken. The simple truth is that most of us were just never taught how to do this. No one ever handed us an owner's manual for our own brains and showed us where the off switch is for a thought. I mean, seriously, think about it. We learned all this stuff in school, but was there ever a class on how to actually manage your own thoughts? Or how to consciously step out of a negative spiral? Or, and this one's huge, how to just let go of thoughts that aren't serving you? Nope, we were never given those tools. And that lack of training has very real consequences. Which brings us to part three, the real-life costs. Because an untrained mind running wild isn't just some harmless quirk. It has a massive, tangible impact on your life. And the stakes are incredibly high. When this is left unchecked, it absolutely demolishes your confidence. It kills your productivity because you're just stuck in analysis paralysis. It messes with your sleep. It cranks up your anxiety. And ultimately, it just keeps you stuck, spinning your wheels, unable to move forward. But you know what the most dangerous part of it all is? After a while, you stop seeing overthinking as something your brain does, and you start believing it's just who you are. It becomes part of your identity. You tell yourself, oh, I'm just a worrier, or I'm just an anxious person. But it's not who you are. It's just a pattern your brain has learned. Okay, so that's the bad news. Where's the hope? Well, that brings us to our final section, the path to clarity. This is all about making a fundamental shift in how you relate to your own thoughts. And here is the single most important idea to grab onto. The goal is not to stop thinking. I mean, that's impossible, right? Your brain is a thinking machine. The real goal isn't to think less. It's to think differently. It's about changing the quality and direction of your thoughts. And you won't get there just by trying harder or using more willpower. In fact, trying to force your thoughts away usually just makes them shout louder. What you really need isn't more brute force. You need a system, a reliable process you can turn to every time. So what does a real system for this look like? Well, it's about building practical skills. First, learning how to actually interrupt a negative thought before it spirals out of control. Second, knowing how to regain your footing and get back a sense of control. Third, developing the ability to calm your mind whenever you need to. And finally, when your mind is calm and clear, you can make confident decisions and actually move forward. So in the end, it really boils down to this. Your mind can either be your prison, a place that keeps you limited, anxious, and stuck, or with the right training, it can become your greatest weapon, a powerful tool for focus, for clarity, and for taking decisive action. It's not about who you are today, it's about the choice you make tomorrow. So,
Which will it be?